Welcome to session number 8 of Piobaireachd with Old Black Part. And I'm Old Black Part, John Parton. Session number 8, Tarluath Max. You'll find these in a couple of tunes, or a few tunes, usually the longer tunes like End of the Great Bridge and the Lament for the Union, but nonetheless you find them. Now you may recall from your light music that you can make a B Tarluath starting on B and wind up on B. And you can make a C Tarluath also ending on a C. We call those B to B Tarluaths and C to C Tarluaths, but in Piobaireachd we call them Tarluath Max. So incidentally, you only play Tarluath Max on B, C, and D. So if you have a B Tarluath Max, it's really just a B to B Tarluath. So let's look at that. You'll start with a G grace note on B. Then you're going to close down the chanter to low G, make a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go back to B. So let's walk through that again. A high G grace note on B, close to low G, a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go back to B. Here's how that sounds. Okay, now let's increase in speed. Now for a C Tarluath Max, it's nothing more than a C to C Tarluath. But again, we're going to start with a high G grace note on C. Close down to low G, a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go to C. So let's try that again. High G grace note on C. Close to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go to C. Here's how that sounds. And now increasing in speed. Okay, now for B Tarluath Max. You're going to start with a high G grace note on B. Close down the chanter to low G. Go back to D, make a C grace note by striking the chanter and going back to D with an E grace note at the end. So let's do that again. G grace note on B, close down the chanter, D, strike C, and an E grace note. So here's how that sounds. Okay, and let's increase in speed. Okay, that's all there is to Tarlotha Max. For some practice on Tarlotha Max, let's look at the end of the Great Bridge. This is a tune on page 54 of the Piobaireachd Society collection. It is a Class 1 primary tune. Let's look at the Tarlotha Max variation, which is variation 8 near the bottom of the page. First line, ready? That's your first line. Now notice that you have some of those low G tarloths here. So you remember those from session number 7. So let's do that first line again. Second line. And the third line.